second cousins. Welcome in, you sick masochistic fans. It's me, your boy Kyle, here with Jason the Pich. Am I reading this right, Jason? 122-82. That's 40, right? We lost by 40. The Orlando Magic down by the Cavs in the worst game of basketball I think I've ever watched. And I didn't actually watch all of it. We should say we started getting ready halfway through the third quarter, I think. I mean, we weren't watching live. It was actually live in the fourth quarter, but we're like, yeah, we've seen enough. And the way that Stan Van Gundy and the commentators were talking about, the game was over in like the third quarter. They're like, well, they tried hard tonight, but, it's good that the Cavs came and played because they got the Celtics next, but they really stepped up and played hard tonight. It's like, shit, there's another quarter and a half. Everyone's just packing it in. Brutal.
All right. Well, it seems like you're throwing it to me, so I'm not gonna lie to you. You might not get it back. You texted me. You're like, "Hey, you gonna watch the game?" And I kind of was sitting around. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the game.
Hell yeah!
But every time you text me and ask me if I'm watching the game, I always fear this happening, which is I watch game, I see same thing, team lose. Now I'm mad and my evening is ruined. I mean, I'll bounce back. It's fine. But this was awful. It was an awful game. It points out all our weaknesses. This is a team we went 7 games with in the playoffs last year. We should be stepping up with them. Now, granted, they took a big leap forward because they've got these unknown white players coming off the bench, just kicking ass, named Ty Jerome. Never heard of this cat before in my life. Apparently he's the second coming of Steph Curry. I don't know what to do. Everybody on their team shoots threes. They got Okoro. They got Strus. They got everybody. They got DeAndre Hunter almost for nothing. And they're just so good. Their team's all good. And their bench comes in and they're good. And I'm sorry, but I have to compare it because our bench right now is Isaac, Goga, AB, Harris, Da Silva. You worried about any of those guys scoring? I'm not. And they're not either because they're not scoring. And one guy we have that is usually on the bench, Cole Anthony, got hurt in the third. Don't know how serious that is, but hopefully he's going to be okay. But it can't just be all Paulo and Franz. It got annoying to watch Paulo struggle to try to do things, throwing up air balls and trying to force threes because he's trying to make some miraculous comeback or at least get his numbers. And it's like, this is not what we want for this team. And I'm honestly tired of it. I can't just go out and try to be all defense. We're struggling to score points from the tip. We are having trouble scoring points. And when we don't have anybody to turn to that ever gets hot. No one ever else gets hot on the team and drops a random 20 piece on the game. It's Cole Anthony, it's Franz Wagner, and it's Paolo Banchero, and there are no other scorers on our NBA basketball team. And you need to be able to turn to some, and every other team has them. The Cavs have guys on their bench that would start for us right now. And that's a problem. We shouldn't be this far away from a team that we were that close to last season. I know we're missing Suggs and we're missing Mo Wagner, but they're missing Darius Garland.
Yeah.
So what are we talking about here? I know the Cavs got a lot better, but we shouldn't be getting blown out like that on our home court. It's embarrassing. It's on national TV. There's not much good to say about this game. This was terrible. Even the Cavs uniforms, terrible. Just a terrible event that took place on TV. Although I do love Iron Eagle and Stan Van Gundy.
Yes.
I wish they got to call a better game though.
Yeah. No, Pich, it's a tale of two teams. And it was the best of times and the worst of times. And we are the worst of times. I mean, they had a graphic up. I don't know if you remember it, but it was the side-by-side on offensive rating for the Cavs, number 1, 3-point shooting for the Cavs, number 1, offensive rating for the Magic, number 28, 3-point shooting for the Orlando Magic, 30th, last. It's just, this is a team, as you said, 7 games. It was close, and we never lost on our home court. And tonight, we get blown out by 40 on our home court. And, I mean, yeah, the play wasn't great. Paulo looks like he's got to force everything. Stan Van Gundy was calling a great game. He said, they just have to take hard shots every single time. It needs to be a Herculean effort for Franz or Paulo every single time because nobody else is doing anything. And then Cole, the only guy who has been doing a little bit of scoring offensively, he goes out too. It's just, it's tough to watch, and it's really coming squarely on this front office, man. I am so sick and tired of this. It's really been hard to watch this freaking team all year, man. Like, yeah, great. We're number 2 in defensive rating and points allowed per 100 possessions at 109.2. Fantastic. Only Oklahoma City is doing better than us. But guess what? We're 28th in our offensive points per game at 108.5. So if we played ourselves every single night, we'd kick our own ass. Like, we can't score as many points as we let. Like, we're number 2 in the league, and we're allowing 109 points, but we can't score 109 points. So what's going on? And it's like, Weltman, I've been so complimentary of you, and I've appreciated your patience up until this point. And a couple years ago, when people were saying, Donovan Mitchell, should we go after him? I was with you when you didn't make that splash. And just going back a little bit, Donovan Mitchell goes to the Cavs. The Jazz receive Colin Sexton, Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, one first-round pick, 3 first-round picks, and 2 swaps. And another team must know. Lauri Markkanen was on the Cavs at that time. So that's a lot to give up for Donovan Mitchell. But shit, man, it seems really great right now. Like, would I rather have Donovan Mitchell or Jet Howard, Anthony Black, Tristan da Silva? Like, yeah, I mean, I like those guys. They're nice players, but hey, Utah, you could have all of them and some more for Donovan Mitchell right now. And then they go out and they get DeAndre Hunter because they're a winning team and they're trying to win fucking basketball games. And we do nothing at the trade deadline. It wasn't a crazy haul for DeAndre Hunter either. It wasn't crazy at all, and they're making winning moves. They've constructed a team that actually makes sense, Pich. They've got a couple guards who can dribble and score. They've got some big men who can play defense. We just have a group of long dudes who play defense, and then Paulo and Franz who need to operate in the paint. So we have no shooting around them, and it's just really horrible roster construction. I don't care that Jalen Suggs is out. He's not going to fix this shit. We're stumbling to get into the playoffs. If we get in there, I'm not confident that we're beating anyone in a play-in game. I mean, this is going disastrous if we don't at least get into the first round and put up some type of fight. But, man, it's ugly, Pich. It's really, really ugly, and I'm just so fucking pissed at Weltman. I wish when I saw him in Brooklyn, I fucking kicked him in the nuts or something. Jesus.
Well, tell you what, you can tell he's mad, folks. I've never heard him swear this much. He's fiery. I'm glad that we're at least doing this so you can get this out.
Yes,
because
this is therapy.
Because I assume that your wife is asleep and you have no one to talk to about this. And even if she was awake, she wouldn't care. So, this is not the NFL. Defense doesn't win championships. I think we're seeing that now. The Mavs recently tried to say that was an idea too, and got rid of a score. Look, if you're going to be a team that hangs your hat on defense, you have to have one guy like a Donovan Mitchell, like a Luka Doncic, that's going to go out and can score you 40 points easily in a game. A guy that's just going to be ball dominant and get things done. Now, can Paulo and Franz do that from time to time? Yes, they sure can, but they're not the kind of dudes that are going to create their own shot all the time. Paulo is working hard. Look, I'm not saying the team's not working hard, except for Wendell Carter Jr., who I am fucking done with, by the way. Like, I think I've made it pretty clear, but let me just go ahead and say it right back. I've never wanted to switch bodies with another human more than, if anything can happen, if the people in Disney can make that happen right now, switch me and Wendell Carter Jr. and watch what I do inside that guy's body, because I will become the Draymond Green of this fucking team. I will get in guys' shorts. I will be a pain in the ass. I won't be the best offensive player, but I'm going to set picks and screens and play great defense, and no one's going to out-rebound me. I'm getting every ball. It's frustrating to watch him struggle, throwing up air balls, missing threes, just being a general dude out there, like just a guy in a uniform filling a spot. Like, be something, do something, show some heart, for Christ's sakes. The most heart we've ever seen out of him is when he got injured and he cried because he was upset he wasn't going to get to go 10 for 10 or 10 and 10 anymore with his 10 points and his 10 rebounds. It's like, we don't need that kind of effort. We need actual effort when you're in the game, bro. Like, it is hard to watch this team because shots aren't falling. and there's no one to turn to, right? Like even back in that mid-level day when Terrence Ross was on the team, once in a while he'd just get hot, drop 20 and a quarter or something like that, and he'd be like, all right, this guy can fill it up. He was at least someone you had to respect when he was open. They're not even running at some of our guys at this point. Like, what's the point? Like Wendell went to shoot a three in the fourth quarter, and they like really ran at him, and he pump faked. And I'm just like, why? Let him have it. He hasn't proven that he can make anything. Like, I just don't. It's getting too easy to defend us, and we struggle to score so much that I don't care how good our defense is. We can get forced turnovers and maybe get a few fast break points here and there, but we're down so much because we're only scoring twos and other teams are filling it up from threes with no-name guys you never heard of. White American players, for crying out loud, are coming off the bench and kicking our ass. And it was just, it didn't seem, we needed a Mo Wagner there, to somebody to like pop an elbow into somebody's rib and just mix it up a little bit. We don't have that either right now. Like, there doesn't seem to be a lot of grit out there. I see Paulo and I see Franz hustling, but I see them also getting that look on their face like, this is terrible. That's, stars get sometimes when they're on bad teams. You hate to see that with our guys, because if we're trying to build around these guys, we need to build around them sooner. If they run a team out next year that looks a lot like this team, things are going to be bad. And you did dumb things like re-signing WCJ that you didn't have to do, and you made a few moves that kind of trapped us in. Things need to be done in the offseason to improve this team. Otherwise, our stars are going to be like, maybe I don't want to sign a max here. Maybe I don't want to sign here. Like what's going on? We had like good vibes and good things going, but it's not making itself known out on the court. And ultimately, that's where it has to show. When you have some games that are nationally televised, I'm gesturing to my television over there because it finally got to like have a game on it that didn't go through a computer on NBA TV. So it was excited. But the two times I've seen them on national TV this year, we've gotten blown out. So it's like, this is a real sad state of affairs. You need to represent a little bit more in those games. We're trying to change the narrative of what the league thinks of our team, what fans think of our team, and try to get us going in a positive direction. You make no moves at the deadline when everybody else is making moves. So God forbid you be in the conversation of the rest of the league. It's mad frustrating. And it's like, oh, well, yeah, we still have to watch this.
Yeah, we do. And Pich, we're going to be watching it live in a little under about a month now for Court Cousins Night, the family reunion, the third annual family reunion. And I'm going
to yell for Mac McClung minutes, my friend. At this point, like, fuck it. Let's see some different shit out there, because we're seeing a lot of the same shit.
And we hope to see you, second cousins, there. We got a little bit of an extension on the ticket selling link. The link is in the description. Even if the product on the court isn't great, the camaraderie in the stands with all of you second cousins is going to be fantastic. Lots of giveaways. It's going to be good. But Pich, I'm
going to say funny shit.
Yeah,
I'll be in full uni.
No,
let's get weird.
Yeah, call for the McClung minutes. Like, let's do some weird Trevlin Queen chants. Like, come on, let's just fucking do some stuff. You mentioned it though, man. Like, the moves were okay. Resign, do an extension for JI that we didn't need to do an extension for Wendell we didn't need to do. Get our big ticket free agent in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and man, those guys were just like silent tonight. It just couldn't do anything. It looks like we're playing a pickup game out there. Like, you just go out to a court, you kind of get out there with your friends. The shooting isn't good. Guys are dribbling the ball off their foot. They're hitting all the different sides of the rim. Nothing's really going in. And that's what it feels like. And yeah, I mean, your point is fantastic. At what point do Franz and Paulo just say, like, what the fuck? I mean, I know Franz is on the extension now, so he's probably not going anywhere, but these guys can demand trades at any point and make stuff weird. We've seen that all around the league. So even though you've signed an extension, that doesn't mean that he's here. And it's becoming clearer and clearer that this is going to be a lost season in many ways, and that needs to rest with Weltman. I know injuries, we get it, but the team around Paulo and Franz just doesn't support them in what they do. They love to get into the paint, they love to draw contact, to get to the rim, and right now we've got no one to space the floor. And so teams are just throwing 3-4 bodies at them and saying, shit, no one else can beat us, so let's might as well stack the paint. And it is requiring just heroics anytime we're going to win, or playing a really shitty opponent. And I mean, how many more of those do we have on the schedule? We thought those Raptors games were going to be something, but they just got Brandon Ingram, although I believe he's maybe nicked up. We got the Warriors on Thursday, then 2 games against the Raptors, again, who have Brandon Ingram and have guys, and they're not going to be a pushover. The Bulls, the Bucks, the Rockets, the Pelicans. Like, maybe the Pelicans is the only one there that I'm like, yeah, we can beat them. And it's complete role reversal. Remember last year, Pich? We're talking about how we're in every single game. Any team, any opponent you put in front of us, we could win this game. But not this year, man. It's like Wendell shooting 20% from beyond the arc. Anthony Black, who was a 40% three-point shooter. It looks like that was an aberration, and he's really not a shooter at all. And Kenny, at all. So it's like, okay, all this shit was just grasping at straws. The internal development that Weltman was talking about isn't there. And hey, I guess he didn't see the move out there at the trade deadline. Well, sometimes you got to make it, Pich. You made this point. Like, sometimes you just got to shake shit up, because right now, what's left besides spiraling downward?
Right. I mean, when you go for a free agent in the offseason, like KCP, and I still think KCP is a good player. I'm not putting him at the Wendell Carter on my shit list level, but if he isn't making your team better, then at the trade deadline, you've got to do something else. Otherwise, you're ignoring that whole first half of the season and saying, well, the first half is a wash because Paulo and Franz were out for most of it is ignorant. Because that's not necessarily true. There's so many other teams that lose key players and they truck on. They find a way, right? Like Darius Garland out tonight. Cavs truck on. Like, other guys step up, right? Like, when some guys go down, it's that next man up. And the only man I've seen step up at all is Cole Anthony. And we have always known he's capable scorer in bunches. But I don't see anybody else stepping up. Like KCP, go ahead and shoot a bunch of shots if you want, bud, because no one else is shooting.
Yeah.
And we paid you to come in, so shoot some. So he shot a couple tonight.
Yeah.
One time he went to go for a 3, took a step in, took a long 2. I like that move. It's an open shot and you can hit it. He's capable. He just seems like shy on it. Everyone's shy. AB looks shy. Like, everyone looks shy. Even Tristan Da Silva looks shy tonight. It's like, hey man, someone's got to shoot on this fucking team. Someone shoot, try it, get better at it, learn in game, right? Like, if we're not going to win these games, we're getting blown out by 40, go ahead and start throwing some shit up.
Yeah.
Like, run a play for Da Silva, have him come off a cut, like, see if he can shoot. Like, let's see some shit. Jet Howard got a few minutes tonight. He should have been playing the whole fucking second half.
Yeah.
Let the kid gun him. He's shown me he can hit him once in a while.
Right.
What the fuck? Why not? Like, try throwing some different shit at the wall, because we know what you're throwing at the wall now doesn't stick. is what we're so frustrated about. And especially when you look around the league and you see all the other pieces that are new, that people picked up at the trade deadline, that are helping their team, that can hit 3-pointers, that can do all the things that this team needs. It's not like there weren't guys that were out there that were available, right? And it's not like the asking price was too high for them. So you have to wonder what's going on. And at some point, you have to wonder who's not pulling the trigger on something.
Yeah. Oh, you mean
I don't get it.
You don't mean that steep price they paid for DeAndre Hunter, a Georges Niang and a Karis LeVert and 3 future second-round picks? I mean, we love second-round picks. We need those, Pich. Those are valuable, right?
That was a minivan and a bag of balls right there. Yeah. I don't know.
Like, there were moves around the fringes that we didn't make, and it's tough to watch second cousins. I bless your hearts for being here. Bless your hearts for continuing to watch. I guess I'm gonna keep doing it.
Maybe you're just a Cavs fan that likes seeing us kicking us on when we're down in the comments section. That's fine. Do it. Get pissed at me that I don't know who Ty Jerome is. I don't watch Cavaliers basketball all the time. Last time I watched him, he wasn't playing, so I don't know who the hell the guy is. He's 27. I've never opened up a basketball card of the guy, so he either never had rookie cards or he just came out of thin air. I got a ton of basketball cards. I go through them all the time. When I see a player I don't recognize, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Right? It's a legit concern. Like, because even guys that aren't that great, they had rookie cards their rookie year. And then maybe they don't make cards of them anymore because they don't get enough playing time or something. But like, never seen a card of this guy.
I feel like you must have Ty Jerome cards. Wasn't he a Grizzlies or something like that when he came in the league?
I don't know. I looked it up. I guess he played for Virginia. Maybe he was on that team that won
Yeah.
the championship or something like that.
Yeah.
So, okay, maybe he did some things at one time, but I think he was injured all of last season is what they were saying on the broadcast.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he wasn't around, because he didn't play against us in the playoffs. I don't remember that guy.
But we were texting about this, and these guys that kind of you feel like come out of nowhere, those dudes are developed in the fire of competition, because nothing is guaranteed in the NBA. And when you have a team like the Cavs that are making moves, they're like, nah, fuck it. We're going out and getting Donovan Mitchell. Like, we're bringing in a guy to put with our young core of Darius Garland, Mobley, Jared Allen. Like, we're ready to do this right now. We're going to go out and get DeAndre Hunter. We're going to get incrementally better. Karis LeVert's solid player. Georges Niang, he can hit the three, but we want to get better. We're going to get rid of those two guys and get one guy who's a level up. Now everyone's looking around like, oh shit, okay, there's urgency here. Like, they got Max Strus a couple seasons ago, right, from the Heat. After their run, they're making moves. So the culture in that building is like, hey, we value results. And I feel like sometimes the culture in our building is like, hey, do you have good vibes? Cool. All right, that's it.
Right.
Like, are you smiley?
Yeah,
do you like Pokemon cards? Cool, come on.
Cole Anthony's gonna love you.
Yeah.
He's got a Charizard for you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
Yeah, it is good that they have that camaraderie, right? Like you
Sure.
do. Like I said it on the most recent episode of our podcast. Check it out now. It's on YouTube if you want to watch this in longer form. If you're playing with your friends all the time, it's fun to a certain degree. But if you're trying to win games in the NBA, sometimes you have to play with other guys that like maybe you don't hang out with outside of work, but that's okay because he does his job and he does his job. And because you're all doing your job well, you have team success.
yes.
But yeah, you're right. There's nobody else is stepping up for us. There isn't that diamond in the rough that's just entering the lineup and taking the league by storm or challenging something. It's just like when you give all these guys these safe little contracts and they know they're safe,
Yeah.
they don't have the same
They
level.
haven't
You should have
proved
said
anything.
to WCJ, hey, you should have said to WCJ, hey, listen, finish the season with these numbers,
Yeah.
15-15 every game, and then we'll give you your contract.
Right.
And you know what? They wouldn't be paying him because he wouldn't do it.
No,
But at least you would have at least put something on the end of the string to make people go and go after to move the mule forward, right? But
yeah.
there's nothing moving the mule forward right now. And I think Moritz Wagner being gone is a key factor for this team. I think he brought a grit to this team that is important. And Suggs is a very gritty player as well. And this just looked like a team that was outclassed almost from the start of the game, from tip to end, just outclassed. And it shouldn't be that way when you just lost a 7-game series to them last year. It should be a little closer.
From tip to base. It was all the way in. No, I can keep going on this a little bit with the vibes thing. You don't want to make a trade because the vibes are so good. Pich, how long do good vibes last if you end this season and go, how many, we had 24 games, we have like 23 games, 22 games. If you go 8-12, if you go 6-14, like how long do good vibes last when you're losing? And I know we're 3-3 in the last 6, so 500 basketball, okay. But I just looked at our next 6 games, and I can't tell you any guarantees in there. And after this homestand, we go on the road for a little bit. If it gets ugly, like it doesn't matter how cool everyone is with each other. Weltman is putting Mosley in the crosshairs of like getting players at a certain point. No matter how good of a leader Mosley is, there's just going to be some tiring. So it's some wearing down because it's like, well, man, we're trying to do what you're saying and we're fucking losing every night. And so I hope that doesn't happen with this team because I do like this team, but man, it's just all Weltman. I put all the blame on Weltman, and he needs to be accountable for that shit, and he needs to own it. And he said just barely anything after the trade deadline, like, hey, fans, I know we need shooting. So then why didn't you get any? Why didn't you get any? Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, an 8-point per game scorer, is not – you need to bring in like 2-3 guys who put up 8 threes a game. Like, we really need to drastically improve this, Pich. I'm done.
He could have very easily said, hey, we wanted to make some moves for shooting, but the price was too high, or even
that's
said
kind
what
of
what
he said. That's kind of what he said. in one of his interviews.
But kind of. But not really.
He's like, well,
you're going heavy on Weltman here, but I'm not letting the coaching staff off the hook.
Okay.
I'm sorry. There's that many players on an NBA roster that can't shoot the basketball.
Yeah.
An NBA roster, NBA, it's tough to make it. There's a whole league, G League, of guys that are desperate to make it to the NBA, and a lot. Each G League team, he would be one of these guys. Each G League team has at least 2 or 3 guys that are fucking professional shooters and shoot the ball well.
Yeah.
Right. So, they're looking for work.
Mm-hmm.
It can't all be about defense. At some point, you have to be able to score the basketball. You have to have some players you can turn to and say, get me a shot. We'll run you a play. You come off here, or we'll give you the ball. We'll do an ISO. We got Paulo and Franz, but they're getting worn out, man. They're playing heavy minutes. They're throwing up bad shots. That's why their efficiency's down. And I know Franz in particular, when his efficiency's down, he's down.
Yeah.
Like he's not the same player when that efficiency's not dropping. When his first few little finger roll things bounce out of the rim, I'm always like, fuck.
Yeah.
He's not having a day today. We're not going to be. Those guys both have to be going if we're going to win games right now. And that's sad. We should have some other complementary pieces that can drop 12, 15 points here and there to supplement the lack of points from the rest of the roster. It's mind blowing to think that our roster has this many players on it that can't shoot. Yeah. I don't shoot a basketball very often, but I feel like, could we compete with our guys in a 3-point shooting contest? I mean, maybe not all of them. No, you're laughing right now, but like, come on, when you look at what they're doing, I mean, they're in a game. I know. I like to hope. I want to see footage of them shooting in the gym. Are they making 9 of 10 in the gym? Like, I need to know. Like, if Mose says to me, hey, they're hitting every shot in the gym during practice, then I'll be just like, well, hey, we got to find a way to translate that to the game. But I'm not hearing that either. Like, work on shooting, man. It's like one of the most key parts of the game. Like, I know defense is cool for the primetime moments, when it's clutch time. But you can't get to clutch time if you're not in the game at the end. So it's a big part of it. And I've respected that they've said, hey, we're going to be defense. But ultimately, you need some players that can score. And it is showing its ugly head this entire season that we don't have those players.
Yeah. And the Cavs didn't care much about that defense. They scored 122. So there's that. But Pich,
they don't care.
I'm going to go on the offense hard down in Orlando in about a month. I hope to see you second cousins there. Pich, I know it wasn't pretty, but it was good to get on here and talk to you about this. I appreciate it. I needed to let this out. So maybe we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, maybe we won't get blown out by 40 next time. That'd be great.
Please, God. Peace out, everybody.
Thanks for coming.